Hey everybody, I'm Steph.
I'm Michael.
And today we have our top 10 games that we learned in April 2025.
That's right. And it was a month full of games.
Yeah, I learned 75.
And I was at 73, which would have been 74, but there was a game that you played that I didn't. There were actually several games of yours that I did not play.
And some that you learned that are older for me, and so
I've got three older titles on my list.
So it's an exciting list because it feels eclectic almost.
Yeah. Because these are not necessarily brand new games on this list. Some of them are older games that have either appeared on our radar, maybe one or the other of us had not played it before. But yeah, I've got technically four games that have already been out, and I've got the dates on here ready to go, so I can say that it's a game from whatever time period.
That's right.
And yeah. Yep. So
good month. I wanted to start us off by saying we did learn a few prototypes that we would have made the list, but because we can't talk about them, we are not putting them on the list.
Yep. Prototypes from some of my favorite designers
and publishers.
You might say I'm a fanboy of them.
Yep.
But there's a lot coming. So, before we get started, I should say that some of these games, not nearly as many as most months, have been provided by publishers. I've only got two on my list, amazingly, because we have not yet received some of these games from the publishers. By the time some of you watch this video, they will have already been provided by the publishers. So we're going to go ahead and give the blanket statement that any of the games that we played, which we will identify them, if we don't say it, assume we got one, were provided by the publishers, but they did not give them to us in exchange for our playing or their placement in this video. They gave them to us because they know we like to play all the games. So let's go ahead and get started with my number 10 game. Not provided yet by the publisher, but it is a game called Up or Down. One of the few games from Dale that Dale sold you a whole box of games. Dale of the Opinionated Gamers. And this is one that I think is really, I don't know if I'd call it unique, but it does feel a lot like a game that you adore.
A little bit.
Called Ohanami.
I love Ohanami.
Exactly.
So I could see the comparison.
But not exactly.
But not really.
The same.
Yeah.
So, in Up or Down, it is a card drafting game. You're going to start off with cards in your hand. And then the cards I can't remember how many cards are around in a ring, but they are going to be, I think they're numbered from like 0 to 120, much like Ohanami.
Maybe more, I think.
125-ish. And there's going to be a face-up draw pile and a face-down draw pile in the middle. So what I'm going to do on my turn is I'm going to take one of the cards in my hand. I'm going to place it into the display based on what the number is on my card. And then I'm going to take one of the two cards either to the left or the right of it. Hey, what happens if I play a card smaller than or larger than anything that's out there? That means I'm going to end up taking the previous smallest or largest card in that ring because it's in a ring. So then I'm going to take the card that I drafted and I'm going to place it into one of three columns. When I place that card, it will either be the first card of a column or it has to go in ascending or descending order in that column. I don't have to establish it until my second card. At that point, I am establishing whether that column goes up or
down.
That's what the name of the game is. So, the main difference between this and Ohanami, there are actually three. In Ohanami, it's simple drafting. You're not having to place a card to get a card.
That's right.
2, the three columns have to strictly go up or down, Ohanami can get cards either going up or down. So your column never does, your column only chokes off in the middle. And thirdly, Ohanami scores in rounds where you're scoring some colors in some rounds and other colors in other rounds. In up or down, only one color is going to score, whichever is your largest number
In the column.
in that column. So I've got a lot of yellow cards in column one. I'm going to score based on the number of cards I have that are yellow, because I have the most yellows, times the number of cards in that column. Hey, that's my score for that column. So,
Yeah, but it's a little bit more punishing than Ohanami because
yes, it is.
if you have to play a card and you can't, you have to kill a whole row.
To completely delete the row. Anything in your discard stack is going to be worth minus points at the end of the game.
So
but
that's basically the reason why I didn't make my top 10.
Careful calculation
Yeah.
can end up being the difference. So out of 73 games, that's my number 10.
Yeah, it's pretty good. I liked it.
So
it's a good U game. So it's a game we're gonna keep.
It did not
play it as a U game on January 1.
Did not hit your list though.
No.
Matter of fact, none of Dale's games hit your list. No. There is a game that Dale kept that did hit your list, but we'll talk about that in a minute.
My number 10 is a game you actually didn't play. I learned it like the last day of the con. It's called Moon Colony Bloodbath.
It's worth mentioning, I have not yet played this game, and we do now have it from the publisher.
Yeah, so it was provided to us by the publisher, and
Rio Grande Games.
Yeah,
we love them. They have been really hooking us up.
You know, it's awesome. I really enjoy Rio Grande titles, so I'm very excited. This is one I saw being played actually a bunch during the convention, and I know my friend Scott had it for a while. It's by the Dominion designer, Donald. What's his name?
Donald X. Vaccarino.
Yeah. And so
Dominion fame.
Dominion fame. That's what I'm getting at. And so this one is not really a deck builder, but sort of a deck builder. It's a communal deck builder where, I might get some perks, some cards with perks, and then my perk cards go into the deck. And every time we have an event that gets added, it goes into the deck. And so, these deck of cards is going to keep shuffling every turn, and we're going to go through the deck of cards, much like we would in a Challengers or something. We're going to flip over cards, and you don't know what's going to come up next. And so it's really interesting. You have to try and not die first, but you're going to die. Everybody's going to die.
I mean, it is a bloodbath.
It's a bloodbath. So you're going to die. You just have to prepare for the worst and do it better than anybody else.
That's right. So that's your number 10 game, Moon Colony Bloodbath. Thanks for subscribing, Aldi. We just saw him last week. He asked how many games did we play?
Oh, we played. I played 121 games and I learned 50. So
it was probably. I don't think I played. I'm not sure if I played 121 games. I did not keep accurate count. I'd have to go back and count. I played 73 new for the month, and probably 50 of those or more were at Gathering.
Yeah.
So, and a lot of the things, 8 of my 10 games that we played from the Gathering are on this list, on this top 10. So that's good.
It's good.
So, Aldi played 5.
To be fair, you cut your trip short. So.
That's right. But you did go see Craftwork, and that's important. So, and I did get to see the videos that LD had of Craftwork.
Seemed fun.
Yeah. My number 9 game is a new game that we saw being displayed by the folks at Scorpion Mask.
Yeah, super fun.
So they said, let's go ahead and say the name. It's called Tag Team. They said, hey, sit down and play this game. It's a 2-player battling game, like 1v1 battler game. And I'm like, not really for me.
And I'm like, sit down.
I'm like, now, come on.
Scorpion Mask does great work. I like their games.
Yeah, I do too. But I'm like, deck builder games, if it's not as good as Magic, I've played a lot of 1v1 battler games, and none of them come close to Magic. And they're just, eh. This one is different, though.
Okay.
Somebody in one of the reviews on BGG said this is like a 15-minute version of Challengers. And now that I've said that to you, do you think that that holds?
No.
I I can see where they're going with it. In tag team, you draft two different fighters,
Which is cool.
which is cool. So like you could have a martial arts person and a pirate,
Mm-hmm.
for example. Um, and there are lots of different ones that you can draft. You're going to take those two decks from those two fighters and shuffle them together. That is basically the deck building part of it, but not exactly, because what you're going to do, take all the starter cards of those characters, keep them out, shuffle up everything else, and then every round you're going to draw two cards, adding one to the deck. Here's the catch. You don't shuffle your starter cards, you place them how you want them. But for the rest of the game, they stay that way. The one card you add gets added somewhere in that stack. Is Steph going to be able to defend against something if I put it on top? I know that she has this big attack card, third down. Maybe I should put this to block her attack. Maybe, because I think that might stymie your plans. But maybe she might add a card which throws that card off. So then we reveal a card and do what it says, and reveal a card and do what it says, trying to knock each other's powers down. You had a berserker that had you got knocked down or had you gotten to a certain rage level before you got knocked out, you would have turned into.
It could have been a bear. It could have been a bear.
But you barely missed.
And Nils and Jim were playing next to us, and Jim was a bear.
Jim was a bear, and you were like, I want to be a bear.
I was trying. But what's interesting is whatever card gets revealed is the card I'm fighting. So if you reveal this card, I have to fight this guy, even though I might want to be fighting the other guy with it. So it's an interesting way that it works.
Exactly. And I might be blocking instead of attacking.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. Once the first of the team dies, then that team is defeated. Is that correct?
Yeah, one person dies.
One of
the game is over.
One of the four
Yeah.
tag team players.
Yeah.
Then the game is over.
It's a ton in the box, so we only saw 4 of like the 12 or 16 of them or something.
Yeah. So is this game for me? Yes. So
I'm glad we played it.
And that's why tag team makes my list at number 9 from Scorpion Mask. Tag team.
Yep. My number 9.
Once I see more characters, it could go up.
Of course.
I gotta say.
Of course it could. It could easily go up.
Yes.
We only played it once.
Yeah.
My number 9, I played You Are at Soccer or Frisbee.
Frisbee Tuesday, Soccer Thursday.
Yep.
Yeah.
And thanks to Shrey for teaching. It's called Daitoshi.
Oh, good.
This is a big Devere game. I saw it at BGG Fall. It was in the hot games area, but I didn't get to play it then, so I was really excited to try it now. There's a lot of stuff going on. There's like parts that are getting added. It's a rondel because you're moving around and you're taking these different actions, but everything is so tight. It is a tight resource management game, and on your turn, you're either going to move and take an action on the rondel, or you're going to do a production turn. Now, in the production turn, you can get lots of cool bonuses, and so you're only allowed to take a production turn every other turn. So, like, I can't do it this turn and then next turn. However, if I do a production turn, I do all my stuff, and I get the bonuses for taking the action. And then if you do a production turn, I also get to do a production turn.
Oh.
And so, but I get it to a lesser extent. So like I don't for choosing production, I get a small bonus for some of the things, but now you do it and I still get to run my production line. So you want to boost those productions as best you can, so you're getting lots of points, lots of like juicy stuff, so that way.
It sounds like combotastic.
It's pretty good. I mean, you're gonna need the steam to run everything because it's steampunk, right? And so you need the steam. So if you don't have the steam, you're gonna be like, I don't need to run it right now.
Right.
But the idea is that you're trying to build up your engine with resources and steam and take really good actions with workers, and then there's like this mechanic where you're getting these terrain tiles, and if you get too many of them your actions start to diminish, so you have to get rid of those terrain tiles to like manage that aspect of the board too. So it's kind of a lot going on
So
with
is it tile placement as well? Or
it's
not really?
really tile placement. It's it's just action
Worker
selection.
placement, action selection, resource management, rondel.
Yeah, so when you're going to a space, if you have workers, you can go to the space with workers, or if not, you just go to a generic space and take the basic action. Otherwise, if you do have the right workers, you could go to spend a steam to take actions with workers. Or if there are already workers in a space, you pay extra steam to remove those workers, so then you can put your workers down.
Sounds like an engine building game that I will really want to play.
That's pretty good. So I liked it, um, and I think it deserves another play for sure. And yeah, it's pretty.
Matt says it's hard to run out of steam.
Yeah,
Just water and fire. It's all you need.
it's definitely a heavy game though. So don't go into it just be like you got to plan your mindset for like a heavy game because there's a lot going on. Um,
Amy says, play with me. James says he did not like it. Hello, Bonds.
So I heard from a variety of people. It's the reviews are kind of all over the place.
Mm.
I do think that I kind of ran away with the game a little bit because I found a really fun engine that worked well with how the board was set up for this particular game, and so a lot of people found a similar thing where like if you set up your board to generate 30 plus points, you're going to take production every other turn because that's a lot of points.
That's a lot of
Like,
points.
you're going to do that. So, um, if you're playing that kind of way, you might find a similar thing. So, I've seen different opinions on it. I didn't just like the game because I did well. I like the game because of the mechanics that you're doing and managing. So,
Dan didn't like it, but was Dan playing in that same game?
he was not.
He was not.
He also
That's
had a similar issue with that. So
got it.
it won't be for
I look
everybody.
I look forward to playing it. Salt asks, this is the game in the same universe as that other anime game, right?
Batoku, yeah.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah.
So,
That's Daitashi.
Daitoshi from Devere.
Yes.
Your number 9 game. My number 8 game is an older 2009 title
That's old.
from Cosmos. I'm old. It's Long Shot.
It's small. There it is.
That was a small shot. This is a long shot. This is a horse racing game. We had recently played Long Shot the Dice game.
I really like Long Shot the Dice game.
And I really enjoyed it as well. Had you already played this before, or did it not make your list?
It didn't make my list, but I liked it.
So it's very similar to the dice game. It's sort of weird. The stickers that came on the horses or that were placed on the horses do not stick to the horses. So word of warning, you might need a little bit of glue to keep those stickers down, but they're not necessarily needed. In a lot of horse racing games, you don't actually own the horse, you're just betting on a horse. In Long Shot, you can actually own one of the horses. Whenever you take a horse and own the horse, then anytime when you roll for which horse moves, your horse might actually move along with it based on which, the numbers that you roll. For example, my horse number 10 might also move when 2s or 5s or 6s are rolled. So if I roll that, then my number 10 horse will get dragged along behind. Ultimately, though, you are going to place bets on horses, even those that are not your own. And you're just trying to get the most money from A, having your horses cross the finish line first, second, or third. B, having your horses with your bets on them cross first, second, or third. And by playing cards that might move horses back or move them up or switch things around. Each of the horses also has a special ability. For example, my number 6 horse had an ability where um, if I had, I believe it was 4 or 5 horses in front of mine, then I get to jump ahead 2 spaces. And that was really good. So, um, Matt says, isn't Long Shot an older game? Yes, it is. It's a 2009 game from Cosmos, according to what I see here. At least that's the publish date. Um,
There might be other titles that are similar from older, but I don't think it's any of the older
the
ones.
one that I don't know if it's a reprint of one of these older ones. The one that I have played is this one from Z-Man and Cosmos. That
It's 2009 for
it
sure.
was 2009. So there are several long shot board games, most of them horse racing. The one that I played is the one that you see here. I'm not sure if it's the Z Man one or the Cosmos one down next to Small Friend over here. But I'm fairly sure we played the Cosmos one, but not 100% certain. Anyway, be sure to check out Long Shot from Z Man and Cosmos.
Yeah, it was good. I like the dice game too. It has a lot of overlapping mechanics.
Yes.
Okay, my number 8 is another big heavy DeVere game.
Hey, DeVere, all the time.
It's called Transgalactica. I did end up playing it after we did the rules teach, and I like it. I think there's a lot of interesting choices. Um, Again, with the rule book, it needs to be tightened up a little bit. But once you kind of get past all that, I and you just kind of play it, it's a lot of fun to figure out what to do based on what other people are doing. I kind of like the follow action in this case because you have to use those little guys and you might as well use it when you're to follow somebody. So um I like
I
different
love games
tracks.
with following actions, I gotta say.
Yeah, so you have to think about how you want to spend those guys and I
Your captain and your crew members meeting your guys.
yeah, see Amy enjoyed it. She played with me and I need to give it another go. This game could have an up or down depending on another play. You know, it's so for me, it's hit that spot where it's like I see a lot of potential here. Will it go up? Will it go down with future plays? Is kind of where I'm at with that. But for now, I enjoy it, and I think a lot of other people enjoy it. I just hope they get a fact going for it.
Yes.
They just need
Now,
a fact.
um, as y'all have already heard in the Transgalactica video, I have not played a full game of this. I have played. I started to play my first turn and got shut out of all of the actions. I was soured on the rulebook experience and have not gone back to it. Sorry, Devere. I Well, after getting they were really responsive. Um,
The
with
designer.
Danielle was really responsive with getting back to all of the answers to our questions. So for that, I'm thankful. But now I don't feel the burning desire to go and play. So as it stands, I have not yet played it actually. So maybe someday when I play it, it will become a new to me game because I have not counted it as a new to me.
Yeah, that happens. I just wanted to give it a go while I still had whatever rules we did get, you know. And we figured it out, I think, but we had a lot of back and forth with the designer to make sure whatever we
Had
could
to. Yeah.
play, we played it right.
And you put in your Transgalactica video some of the answers to those questions.
Right.
So
Yeah.
hopefully that will come in handy to some people who are playing it for the first time. Your number 8 game, Transgalactica from Devere.
They asked what kind of game is it? It is I would say a mid to heavy Euro, probably on the lighter side, even though there's like a lot of
Mid
things.
heavy light.
No.
You said mid to heavy on the lighter side.
Yeah, on the lighter side of medium, I guess. I'd say like a 3.
out of 5.
Yeah. It's not hard. It's just a matter of trying to do everything. And you can't do everything.
So the what kind of game this is a
Worker placement.
worker placement where if Steph decides to go to a space with her captain, other people can follow with a crew member,
For a higher
a
cost
captain, or
if you follow.
it's for a, sometimes different. Let me get it out. Um, there are several action spaces. You must take your captain to those spaces, and then you get to do the main action. And whoever sends a crew member or captain to that space to follow will take maybe a slightly different action, maybe a more expensive action, much in the realm of San Juan, Puerto Rico Race for the Galaxy following action. You know what I'm saying? So, um, yeah, I also like the rules, the look of it. The problem that I had on the game was it is a game where the fourth place player gets to take the first and last thing that pops up. Everybody gets, I think, a civilization and a bonus. And when you take the bonus first, someone can take a bonus that will directly contradict what you were going to do. And then, since you are going last in the turn order, once that comes around, the bonus you really wanted is essentially useless. The last place thing is the last thing that was left over, and you're also going last. And so I was put in a situation where no matter what I took, I was not going to be able to have a good start. So I think it's got a really, really heavy last player disadvantage. So
We had played with 4 in that case. We were playing with 4 in that case.
yes,
When I played with Amy, we played with 3, and it seemed to move quickly with 3. It didn't seem to be that bad with 3 players, so maybe it's better.
maybe so.
Um,
But yeah, you just be advised that the fifth place player, when
oh
Aldi
yeah,
says plays
it's
five
5.
out,
Yeah, it
if
plays
you're
5.
if
Yeah,
you are playing five, you are the first to take something, and the last to take whatever other thing you didn't take. You're going to get the scraps, and you go last. So whatever bonus you get first, make sure it can't be contradicted by what someone else does
that's true.
by taking a different starting system or bonus or whatever, which really limits. I know that they tried to offset last player disadvantage by letting them draft first, but all they have to do is see, oh, they're going to do this. I'm going to directly contradict. So I tried to go out to the farthest system, and someone was like, oh, I'm going to take this black hole and go over to your system and plop a guy on it, and you can't do anything. Okay. So
Yeah,
ultimately, it might work for me. It did not work for me on first play.
that's
So
fair.
there is that. That is your number 8 game, Transgalactica from Devere.
Yeah.
My number 7 game is from Office Dog. I did not even have this on my horizon. I didn't know it even existed
No,
until
we
we saw it last week.
no. I was excited to see it.
It is called The Hobbit There and Back Again. It is a Middle Earth themed roll and write
Mm.
where the main player is rolling the dice and drafting one, doing whatever it says on the die, and then we are going around distributing the dice out. Whenever the dice run out, the next player in line becomes the new first roller. They will take a die. There's always 5 dice rolled, and we don't have 5 people playing. I think it's maximum 4 players.
Hmm.
Um, so you're always going to get some rotation of that starting player.
Hmm.
We played with 3, and it went just fine.
Yeah, I ended up teaching it to 2 other groups after we played it.
Usually, you are going to take your dice to draw lines on the map. For example, the first adventure is when you're trying to get all of the dwarves together to Bag End to celebrate the birthday or grand feast celebration, whatever it is. Gandalf and Thorin also trying to join in. So you're trying to draw lines from all of the dwarfs to Bag End, and the first one to do that, the game immediately ends. Then you turn the page to scenario two, which is altogether different, where you are leaving Bag End and going through this windy path to get to
Rivendell.
Is it Rivendell or is it to the?
Pretty sure it's Rivendell.
Anyway,
I don't remember.
And when you pass through certain areas, if you're the first to do something, you might get a cool bonus. You might be collecting food. You might be collecting swords to defeat goblins along the way. Each of the scenarios, it adds a little bit more difficulty and adds to the rule set each time. So I think that this could go up on the list after I've played all of the different scenarios. I've only played the first three.
Yeah. Just from the first three, it got incredibly difficult just in that third chapter. Having played the first chapter now 3 times, I'm ready to not really play the first chapter again. But that being said, it definitely ramps up pretty quickly. So I'm excited to see what happens next. And it was a nice surprise. I liked it a lot.
Yep. So that's my number 7, The Hobbit There and Back Again from Office Dog.
Um,
Your number 7.
my number 7 is 3 chapters from Amigo. This I heard a lot about coming out of Spiel. A lot of friends were playing it, and I never got the chance to play it, so I wanted to see what it's about. It is a random card drafting game with fairy tales and stuff. Yeah, sure, you can get hit with some luck, but I thought it was a lot of fun because cards will play off of other cards, and so you need to play these different tricks. So if you see Hansel's getting played, maybe I play my Gretel card because I get some bonus off of it or something.
But more specifically, but the first thing you do is you go around drafting your hand from all of these cards going around, and then you take that hand and strategically play cards. So if I know
It's true
that Goldilocks is out there, maybe I want to try to play my 3 bears when that happens.
Right. So you have knowledge of what might be out there, but you also have to try and remember what you've seen as you're drafting these cards to be like, did I see that icon? Can I get points if I do this? And there was a lot of times where I pushed my luck and I didn't do very well, but I think it's still a fun game.
Yeah, and you're trying to capture tricks and trying to collect the hearts and things that are on these cards. It's like when I play Peter Pan, if Captain Hook is on the table or vice versa, I can't remember which, then something is going to happen. And so you're just trying to collect as many of those as possible. It was fine. It was on my long list. Usually I'll collect, oh, these are the ones that I really enjoyed. Now I have to pick my top 10. So it did barely miss my list.
Yep.
I'm a sucker for drafting games, though. So, um,
yeah, I mean, but for a quick 15-minute game, I really like what it's doing.
right.
So.
And I don't mind the randomness as much in a short game. So definitely worth checking out.
Yep.
3 chapters from Amigo.
And I think it's coming to the US, so with the English edition, so definitely be on the lookout for it.
My number 6 game I had never heard of, and most people will not have heard of this game because there is no US distributor for this game.
Not yet.
The reason being is because they don't believe that the US market understands other countries and what things are going on in other countries of the world. And I wholeheartedly disagree. My number 6 game is called Quiz Whiz from Brain Games and Hobby Japan. In Quiz Whiz, you are trying to match countries. You got country cards, trying to match countries to various bits of trivia that are Yeah, Aldi had fun with quizzes. Bond says, "I'm sorry, we're a bag of rocks." That's We're not all stupid Americans, and it's co-op, which makes it even better. So you're trying to take your country cards and match them up to things like which countries have won in ski jumping in the Winter Olympics up to 2023, which I believe is when all of these cards got assembled. Which are the largest gold producers? Which countries have blocked pages on Wikipedia? So, um, there are three cards that you can discuss that are publicly in view. There are three cards in your hand that you cannot publicly discuss. But if you do want to publicly discuss, let's say I'm not sure what Suriname is in relation to these cards in front of us, I will put it on the discussion spot where we can openly discuss these things. So, if you can manage to put two cards on each category, and some of the categories can be none or exactly two of these other categories, then you have cooperatively won. You have a little bit of leeway in that you can miss three before it's counted as a loss. Spoiler alert, we've only won once. So maybe we are a bunch of rocks.
But to be fair, everybody we taught has really enjoyed it. So it's a fun game. We will actually probably play it tonight. So
yes,
everybody can help us.
That's right. Aldi says very satisfying to win. I agree. Hey, legends. Bond says, I know Africa is the largest country. Continent, not country. Yeah, she's playing up with we're a bunch of rocks.
Yep, we are.
But we're not. We can do it. And we'll probably do it tonight. That's Quiz Wiz from Brain Games and Hobby Japan. And hey, U.S. publishers.
Yeah.
Might want to take a look at that.
It's really fun.
It made my list, number 6.
Yeah.
Something is there.
My number 6 coming from Cosmos is Tower Bricks, one word. This is a cooperative I don't even want to say dexterity game. It's not really. You are building a tower, but it could fall and it'd be fine. And it's like decorum.
Cooperative decorum, but with bricks.
To figure out everybody else's rules because Michael doesn't want two blues touching, and so I have to be like, stack this up, and he's like, no.
Hated it.
And then he would build it, and then try and keep things the way it was, except maybe switching a few things around so that I could be like, yeah. And so we played with like a million people. I don't know. The game is you just keep going around until you either win or you give up, basically. So there's no like
there's no punishment for taking too long.
Yeah.
And I think that is what pushed it off my top 10.
That's fair. It's more of a experiment to see how you do and how long it takes. And
there's gotta be a punishment for not getting it right. Otherwise, it's just a round and round and round and round nothing game.
Right.
And that ultimately, I think if there were hard limits, yeah, you can go around 2 times or something.
Sure.
Or 3 times.
Twice.
And then there's a hard ending.
Yeah.
Then I would like it a lot more. I think it's a little too open for my liking.
Yeah, and I get that. So
otherwise, it's an activity, not a game.
Those things could be altered. You do it in 2 rounds or less or something. But for what it is, I really enjoy it. Trying to figure out what everybody's trying to do. Like, why are they doing this? And why are they, why are they trying to put red towards the top? Or
why are they putting those bricks diagonally?
Just cause, or right. Like why are people doing the why are they doing these things? So
exactly,
I enjoy it, and I will be happy to play this one at any time, just because I have a lot of fun with that.
That's right. That is your number 6 game, Tower Bricks from Cosmos. Yes. My number 5 game. Hey, we do have games from the 1990s on this list.
I am happy it's on your
You're
list.
happy
Yeah.
because it's one. I don't know if it's one of your favorite games,
No, but if you were to say let's play a 5 or 6 player game, this would always be one of the choices I would suggest.
and it is Show Manager from Queen Games 1996. It was not this version though.
Yeah, it was.
Mm-mm. I believe it was another one that's not this one. Anyway, we played it in Show Manager. You are trying to draft cards that are different actors that you wanted to put on these shows. The catch is that you can't hold a lot of cards in your hand, meaning unemployed actors. You cannot employ a bunch of actors from your hand or wait until you have the perfect cast and then have a lot of cards left over. You can't do that. You can only have 2 cards left over after you've put on a play, which might mean you have to put on a not as good of a play as what you might want to put on. Um, if you are the first to put on a play, you get to say what city that it is in. And based on the actor values, you're going to be on the track at a certain spot, getting a certain number of points. Anyone that comes in after you will go into that city either in front of you if it was a better done play, or after you if it was a worse play. You can also take out a loan based on the value of, like, let's say I put on a 45-point play of some sort, and you put on a 32-point play. Well, I could easily take a $10,000 loan against that. But if I had a 45 value play and you had a 43 value play, I can't take a $2,000 loan without going under you. So maybe I can only take $1,000
I
loan,
mean, it's fine if you
or I
just
just
go
go,
slow.
go way below you
You need money.
because you might need money for those actors. There's always one that is free, but you're going to get what you get when that
Yeah, it's
happens.
not great.
You can't work with any of those actors that you see. You can say, I can't work with those actors. It's going to cost you 2,000 just to wipe the board and see new things. And that's what you ultimately want to do, is push your luck. You want the really good actor that plays Sir Wolf.
Yeah.
Oh, did I mention? Those actors are really good in certain roles and sort of blah in other roles. Some of them could be good in 2 different plays, but not this ballet over here. So, um, Aldi says the one rule that confounds new players is the 2 card limit. That's busted games before. Um, I think it's just fine. And if someone gets caught with a whole lot of cards, the person who was managing the game, Joe, said, "All right, this new player who was playing, you have 7 cards. You must put on a play with that was the 5 actor play and have 2 cards left over. You're not going to be able to draft another one." So it that can bust games, but you have to sort of warn people ahead of time. You're coming close to your card limit here. So
Yep.
I found that that was not a difficult rule to keep track of. I knew exactly how many cards I had wiggle room left over and how much money, or rather, how little money I had. I think I came in dead last. Love the game. So,
I'd
um,
love to see a remake of this. I would love to see a remake of it.
yeah.
Because when they did do a remake of it, the artwork was so much worse than the original artwork. And the original work is still not great in my opinion, but people like it. I think they could do better these days.
Not this version?
No, we didn't play that
We didn't
version.
play that version. Got it. I thought we had played that version.
No.
I was incorrect. The other version of the game looks like this.
Yeah.
So either one of those games, or there is a remake called Atlantic Star. Whoops,
You fuzzed
I
it.
fuzzed it up.
Yeah, I'll just kill it, I guess.
There is another version called Atlantic Star, I believe from 2001. So if you can't find this version, maybe you can find that one. But I thought it was rather good. So
I didn't play Atlantic Stars, but
yeah, that's the ship's version
yeah,
now, the
yeah.
Atlantic
Okay.
Star. Yeah,
Okay. Well, I'm happy you liked it because I think it's a great game.
show manager from 1996 from Queen Games.
Yeah.
Your number five game.
My number 5 is one you've already talked about.
What?
I know, it's called Tag Team.
Hey, you also don't care for two-player battler games.
I don't, but this was a lot of fun.
This
I'm
was
like,
different.
all right, he's going to attack me on card 5. I need to put something there, and hopefully it works, and I can get bonuses for shielding. And then, of course, you would change yours, and then it's like, no, that didn't work out. But I really enjoy trying to figure out the best path. And because every person and deck of cards is going to be totally different, it's really interesting because, this guy's really good at fighting and this guy's really good at defending or using other power that your partner has, like your two people. And so I really enjoy how they made those combos really work together. And I really want to see all of the factions and what they do.
Same here.
Yeah.
Yep, that is your number five tag team from Scorpion Mask. My number four game is one that nobody here has heard of.
No. 100% true. Maybe Aldi, but
Maybe Aldi, maybe Dan.
probably not.
Maybe
No,
Dan.
Dan for sure, because
Probably
he
Dan.
plays with Joe Huber, therefore.
Therefore, this is one of Joe Huber's favorite games, Gad's Hill 1874 from 2016 from Clickerspiel. This game is rather unique. It's what would happen if you made a logic puzzle a board game. There are several buildings out available in Gad's Hill. Basically, you know this area, Gad's Hill, existed. Now you're trying to figure out historically where these buildings went. How do you do that? Well, you've got cards that will say that maybe the barber shop was across the street from the saloon. Or it may be that um, it'll say my building, which is not a specific building, but it could be any of the buildings in front of you. My building is across from a building on Front Street, or my building was in the northwest corner of town. Um, what that does is maybe there are already buildings in that location except for one of those places. So you're going to mark that building with your building that it discusses on the card, and you will get all of these other tokens that did not get placed on the board. The further you can limit, the more tokens you get, and those tokens are points. Here's the weird catch. I can, if for some reason it says the barber shop was across the street from the saloon and Steph has the barber shop and Joe has the saloon, I can still play that card and say that her barber shop and his saloon were here in the city, and all of those tasty points don't go to them, they come to me. And that's what Steph did not like about Gad's Hill 1874 is that, yes, the buildings are owned. Those point tokens, those can go to whoever solves the puzzle. Joe crushed us,
Of course.
as he would in this game that he has played a lot, and it's a logic puzzle. So, but it was interesting enough and different enough that this is a unique mechanic, and now it's on my want list. So we're on the lookout for it. If anyone knows where a copy of this is, preferably with the expansions, I want it. So Gad's Hill 1874 from 2016 is my number 4 game of the month.
Mine.
In a crowded month.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
we learned a lot of games. Hey, Heroic. My number 4 is Mega Jackpot from Randolph and Hachette.
This is just insane fun.
I love it. If you ever thought like slots could be a theme for a card game, this is like one of the most thematic games I've played in a long time. You are pushing that luck to try and get those to line up in order so you can get the jackpots. And then you're going to
Slot
spend
machine
more.
style.
If you happen to hit the 777, you can push your luck to try and win the game right then and there.
Immediately.
Well, but that's probably not going to happen, right? No, Amy did it on her second turn.
The
And every time I lose.
we did play this on stream, so make sure to check out the video for this.
No, it's so fun. It's a simple card game, and you're trying to collect the different cards for values, and then once the game is over, you add up your points and see who wins. Or if you get lucky,
And by points you mean money.
money. If you get the most money, and or if you're lucky and hit the 7-7, you might just win the game
Outright.
if you go for it.
But in order to do that, you're having to give up 3 sevens. That's 21
It's a lot of
points.
So for a 15-minute card game, this has provided a lot of fun, and I really, really like it.
Oh yeah, Aldi says it's on BGA. Go check it
Yeah,
out.
I definitely play it on BGA. I love it.
And then you'll find out that you too will probably want Mega Jackpot from Randolph.
Definitely.
My number 3 game is a really interesting title I'd never heard of before. It's called the Peak Team from Madigo. Now, if you'll notice this box, you might not be able to see the words here. It says the Peak Team Rangers.
True.
And I thought that was part of the title of the game.
Nope.
Because it's right there with the Peak Team, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know if they plan on having like modules or expansions or whatever, but in the Peak Team, this is a cooperative adventure sort of wilderness ecosystem type of game where you are trying to save the critters, visit certain locations, while playing movement cards. Here's the catch with those movement cards. You're going to collect cards at the start of each turn, and then you are going to give those cards away equally or unequally to your teammates. Those are going to be, you won't get to keep any of those cards. The cards you get came from your teammates. So they know where you're trying to get to, and I know where they're trying to get to. So I'm trying to give, let's say Steph is by a big road and then nothing but snow after that. I want to give her road and snow cards. Maybe there is a pickaxe area, climbing a cliff face or going through a forest. They're going to want to give me those cards so I can move to where I need to get to. Mm-hmm. If you don't get to certain places before the turn runs out, you might end up failing the mission. If you do manage to complete all the objectives, visiting all the locations, rescuing all the critters by the end of the game, you have won, and then it gets another level more difficult. You might be able to get extra powers, but you've got to do things in a faster amount of time. And those challenges build and build. Now, we did not play any of those other ones, but we were allowed to know what happens in the second, third, fourth adventures. And it's exactly what I want in a cooperative game. Real pressure, even at the lowest chapter of difficulty.
I wasn't sure we would win that first game.
I wasn't either. And then it gets harder and harder as you get skill with playing, because we made some big mistakes.
We did
when we started off.
Yeah.
Which we quickly fixed.
Even Arno was like,
we didn't think you were gonna get there. Yeah. See, Aldi only played 5 games at the con. He says the Peak Team was super fun.
Yeah, really liked it a lot.
So that's exactly what I want in a co-op game, though, is that building up of difficulty, the gaining of abilities. As you gain experience, that's you also gain abilities. I love it. Love it. Love it.
I like the fact that you have to pass on your cards.
Yes.
So you have to actively see what your other players are doing at the table and give them things that they can hopefully use, either whether to be to save an animal or to use a pathway or something. So
right.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that is why it is my number 3 game. The Peak Team from Madigo. I hope we get a review copy. Madigo's usually good to us,
Yeah.
so
We'll definitely show that
we
one for
should,
sure.
and can't wait to show it off to you. Your number 3 game we've talked about, sorry.
Michael ruins everything.
Yeah, well, that's not the only one I've ruined.
I know.
I
This is The Hobbit, the back again. From Office Dog. I love it. Honestly, I just wanted to keep playing it. When we were playing chapter 3, I'm like, let's get going. Like, no. Mm. I'm like, oh no.
said no, and yet it's still my number 7 game of the month.
Oh, it's super fun.
There's lots to do.
I can't wait to see what the other chapters have. I know the next one was like Gollum, I think, so we got to get the ring and go to the cave, and then I'm sure we're gonna have to fight Schmog at some point.
Smog.
Smog.
Yeah.
Schmog. I don't
I
know.
don't know.
There's a dragon involved at some point. I read the book, sixth grade. It's been a minute.
Yeah.
Then I saw the movies, which are great too. But yeah, great theme, fun art. It's a really great roll and write game. Definitely up there.
How do you remember that of 6th grade?
I remember.
Must have made an impact.
Well, yeah, because sixth grade.
That's The Hobbit there and back again from Office Dog. My number 2 game is Wandering Galaxy from Plaid Hat Games.
It's a great game.
It's actually the full title is Wandering Galaxy: A Crossroads Game. Now, for those of you who have seen some of the other Crossroads games, these are games where they're generally adventure type games, but you are taking your character piece and placing it onto a spot on the game booklet, which usually has a map of some sort next to it based on where you are. Um, and in this is not much different, except in Wandering Galaxy, you have basically assembled a ragtag group of pirate adventurers and trying to pay off the loan on your heap of junk used spaceship that you have acquired. And to do that, you've got to pick up these odd missions that, maybe it's a pick up and deliver sort of mission. Maybe it is a retrieve uh, some uh, some special artifact from this area of space. So you have to go to that area of space, spending resources as you go carefully, because the more time that you take, the more bad things that can happen to you. We played this 4-player with our weekend gaming group, and we loved it.
Oh my gosh, so fun. I can't wait to play more.
And we are definitely going to play more because we've only played one installment of our spacecraft loan. Looking forward to the next episode of Wandering Galaxy, a Crossroads game from Plaid Hat Games. If this seems like it's up your alley, be sure to check it out as well.
Yeah, it was great. My number 2 is, hey, guess what? Peak Team.
Yay!
Madigo. I really love this game. I had a great time playing this, and I was like, we're so done. And then somehow we pulled it out at the end. We're like, hey, I have this extra road that you need.
Barely.
It was like a small little
To the last card.
like
road area
that Derek could take, and he's like, I could do it, and managed to work it out, and it was epic. It was epic. I really wanted to play it again right there, the next level up, but uh, I'm very excited to play this more and see how difficult it sounds. Very difficult with the harder levels, so I'm very excited to see about that. Um, Definitely worth checking out. When I think they said Essen, but it might be Gen Con.
We'll see.
Yeah, so one of the big cons. It's coming this year though. From Madigo.
That is your number 2 game.
Yes.
Now it's time for the big number 1s.
Yeah.
What could it possibly be? Now, a lot of people will say role-playing games are not board games. I disagree, because a lot of role-playing games include cards. A lot of role-playing games include a board. A lot of games include dice. How can a role-playing game not be the same as a board game? it is a lot of theater of the mind, but I think role playing games are just as much board games as normal board games are. And thus, now, I'm not sure if this is a new game exactly, but it is a new edition. It does have a new link. I'm glad you chose that book because it is D&D Dungeons and Dragons 5th edition from Wizards of the Coast. I have played Dungeons and Dragons before. I have played first edition and I've played second edition. I've played several online versions that incorporated parts of the third edition, fourth edition, maybe even fifth edition rules. Um, but this felt right at home for me. An old school Dungeons and Dragons player, both on the Game Master side and as the player side of those older editions. Um, our friend Jeff decided to take several of us through an adventure with Steph and Dan, BGG Tool, who you'll see on our screen every now and then. And it was fantastic fun. I, of course, was a bard. Traskell of Linden.
Of course.
Have you heard of him before?
Nope.
No, I think we should fix that. Um, that's his tagline. Everyone's got to have a tagline. You were
Sally.
Sally,
Dwarf farmer.
the dwarf farmer.
Ex-dwarf farmer.
You can't be an ex-dwarf. Maybe you're a dwarf ex-farmer.
Yeah. Sure.
Yeah.
Still a dwarf.
The dwarf farmer with 3 weapons that she's toting around. She's toting around a halberd and a great axe and a maul.
No problem.
At the same time. Just shoop, shoop.
Let's go.
So, do I want to cut it? Do I want to flatten it?
That's what happens.
Do I want to hit it from a distance? It was a lot of fun. I know role playing games are not your jam, which is why
it's fine. It was better than a lot of games I played this month.
Was it better than expected?
Oh, it's about what I expected.
About what you expected. Well, that's great.
Yeah.
So, now, if you're not a fan of role playing games, my number one pick is not going to make you rush right out and run into the arms of Dungeons and Dragons. However, you really ought to give it a try. If you've just been forcing away role playing games because you're like, I'm not into all of the thou shalt. I'm running henceforth into the breach and wielding my axe. It really doesn't have to be like that. You can just say, hey, I see this goblin. I'm going to throw my dagger at it. And you don't have to do all the stage production. You know what I'm saying? It's no different than action selection. Hey, I'm going to use my axe to chop this chest. Roll the die. Do I do it? Great. It's no different than a board game.
No, I had fun.
Did you accidentally kill the bard? It's a must. No, the bard killed the succubus.
Thanks to me.
Thanks to Sally and her.
The vial that
no spoiler.
That was needed. And I threw it and it bounced and went to the ground.
And did not break.
Did not break.
I tumbled myself over there, grabbed the vial, was going to attack the succubus, who ran away, and I ran after and threw the vial.
That's what happened. So he takes all the credit.
Great stories.
It was me.
Great songs were sung that night.
It was me. It's my idea.
That was our adventure using the Dungeons and Dragons 5th edition rule set. I loved it. I knew I would. Is it a new game? Yes and no. But it's a new entry in,
I would say yes.
in RPG Geek. I'm going to go ahead and say this edition, new to me.
Yeah, sure.
Making my number 1 on this month's list.
My number 1, Wandering Galaxy, because obviously super fun. I loved every second of this. I loved having our Guardians of the Galaxy-esque troop of misfits on a terrible ship. come together and go on an adventure to do pick up and deliver. You have to go find the stuff and bring it to the locations, and hopefully nothing happens to you on the way. It's just a lot of fun, and it's really well done with the app telling you what's happening and when. And I love how everybody has their own unique uh, thing that they're controlling. Like I was the navigator, and I had to navigate the ship and control certain aspects of the game. And you had another. I forget what you were controlling in that, but James had. I think you were a mechanic, maybe. I don't remember all the roles, but everybody has the roles.
I don't remember. We had fun.
But it was fun.
We've played 70 games since then.
Yeah, I think Susan was the scientist, so she was managing all.
Oh yeah.
The like research
Mm-hmm.
actions and stuff. So there's a lot of good things to explore in Wandering Galaxy. It's great if you like their other line of Crossroads stuff. So I think they just keep getting better and better.
Yeah.
This and Freelancer is really great.
Yeah. Highly recommend checking out all of those Crossroads games from Plaid Hat Games.
Yeah.
And that is your number one on your list.
So
Matt was saying that as soon as you get all of the books and stuff, then they put out a new edition. To be fair to 5th edition D&D, it came out in 2013. It seems like just yesterday, but it's been 12 years. Games, let's think of what's come out in the last, so many, since 2013 in board games. Like multiple new editions of some games have come out. So
it's true. And then you'd say, why did this game get a reprint? It didn't deserve it. I say that about a lot of games. Whereas Show Manager clearly deserves a reprint and hasn't gotten one. What's up, Queen Games? Let's go.
So, recap of our top 10. My number 10 game is Up or Down from Abacus Spiel and Capstone Games. Number 9, Tag Team from Scorpion Mask. Number 8, Long Shot from Cosmos. Number 7, The Hobbit There and Back Again from Office Dog. Number 6, Quiz Whiz from Brain Games and Hobby Japan. Number 5, Show Manager from Queen Games. Number 4, Gad's Hill 1874 from Clickerspiel. Number 3, The Peak Team from Matago. Number 2, Wandering Galaxy provided by Plaid Hat Games. And number 1, Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition from Wizards of the Coast.
My number 10, Moon Colony Bloodbath from Rio Grande Games. Number 9, Daitashi from Devere. Number 8, Transgalactica from Devere. Number 7, 3 Chapters from Amigo. Number 6, Tower Bricks from Cosmos. Number 5, Tag Team from Scorpion Mask. Number 4, Mega Jackpot from Randolph. Number 3, The Hobbit There and Back Again from Office Dog. Number 2, The Peak Team from Matago. Number 1, Wandering Galaxy from Plaid Hat Games.
And that's our top 10 of April 2025.
Tough month because we played so many.
73 and 75.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
I'm catching up. I'm aiming to do 600 new. So I should be able to do it. With
You're on track again.
I'm on track. So let's keep it up, Michael.
We'll do it.
Yeah.
So, for those of you who do not follow us regularly, be sure to check us out on our YouTube channel. Just search for Board Gamer Steph, or catch us live on Twitch. You can join us here in the chat when you see everybody responding here, and we're responding back to you. You can join us in all the frivolity by coming to twitch.tv/BoardGamerSteph, where we stream live every Wednesday and Sunday night at 5 p.m. Central. And we don't just come on here for 1 or 2 games and then bail out of the channel. No, we're here a good portion of the night because we stream 3 games or more every single stream. So come join us on Twitch, where we play all the games.
And for those on Twitch, we'll be right back.